Good morning. Thank you for joining me for my daily Come Follow Me study of the Book of Mormon. Today is Thursday the 23rd, and we're going to start with a daily reflection on the Book of Mormon. For this intent have we written these things, that they might know that we knew of Christ, and we had a hope of his glory many hundred years before his coming. And not only we ourselves had a hope of his glory, but also all the holy prophets which were before us. Jacob chapter 4, verse 4. The Apostle Peter taught concerning the Messiah that to him give all the prophets witness, that through his name whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sins. The principal role of a prophet is to stand as a special witness of Christ, inasmuch as the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. Latter-day Saints declare that prophets from the beginning of time have foreseen and foreknown the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ, have understood his gospel or plan of salvation, and have officiated in its saving ordinances. Thus, from the beginning, those who have looked to his coming have enjoyed a hope of his glory, that through him happiness here and eternal reward hereafter are available to the penitent. All right, today is Mosiah chapter 21. In this, the Lamanites are attacking the people of Limhi again, and the people weary the king with their cries, saying, "Let's go up, let's battle them, come on, let's kill them." So they go up and they die. And they weary them with their crying again, they go up and they die. And then finally, they just submit themselves to the yoke of bondage, and then they humble themselves and cry unto the Lord. Finally. And that's the verse I chose for my faith verse, verse 14. And they did humble themselves, even in the depths of humility, and they did cry mightily to God. Yea, even all the day long did they cry unto their God, that he would deliver them out of their afflictions. And I just wrote, it took great sufferings to bring this people back to faith in God. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want great sufferings, great afflictions to be the way that you come back to the faith or develop more faith. That's not, you want to, the Lord will have a humble people. Either they can choose to be humble or he will compel them to be humble. And you can be faithful or you can be compelled to be faithful, and that's what these people learned. And then they talk about the Jaredite plates, and we're caught up to the moment where Ammon comes to find them. Anyways, that's where we're at. We're now caught up. Let's get into our commentary. All right, chapter 21. They did humble themselves even in the depth of humility. It is according to the mercy and benevolence of the Lord that the chaste and humble are to be delivered. There is a principle in the heavens according to which blessings are predicated upon obedience to divine law. The scriptures provide ample evidence that the degree of liberty enjoyed by the saints of God is a function of their humility, valor, and willingness to be entreated and instructed of the Spirit. Limhi's people are in bondage to the Lamanites, which fulfills Abinadi's prophetic warning. Thus Limhi's people are chastened of the Lord, that they might learn obedience and humility, they finally humble themselves to the point that the seeds of deliverance are sown, whereby they are ultimately delivered by the Lord out of the hands of their enemies. What are those seeds? Even before they are buried in the depths of humility and petition their Lord for deliverance, Ammon and his group are already en route seeking to discover them. Thus, the principle enunciated by Isaiah long before is again substantiated. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. I remember this concept when I studied the Book of Mormon the last time, about how, yeah, they need to humble themselves, but he knows, and he's already sent Ammon to help them. Before they start speaking, they're already on their way. He sent the answer. He knows they're going to repent. He sent the deliverance. So in my trials, in my life, when I think, where is he? Why isn't he saving me? Why do I have to go through this? The deliverance may already be on its way. Just have to be patient and faithful. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm exhausted. All right. The Lord was slow to hear their cry. How can we be delivered out of our afflictions? In life, we sometimes are casual in our relationship with God and in our prayers of thanksgiving. We do as we wish until the afflictions and need are so severe that we feel overwhelmed, and then we call upon the Lord for help. Because of our iniquity and lack of faith, the Lord is slow to hear our cries. It is vital to remember that blessings are given according to our faith, diligence, and patience as we receive the word and give heed to it. It is important to do all we can to succeed rather than just ask the Lord and expect that he will deliver us and do all the work. Oliver Cowdery learned why he was unable to translate. He had to do his part in order to succeed. Limhi's people finally counseled together and under the inspired plan of Gideon are delivered out of bondage. Yeah, let's end there. Okay. Daily reading on prayer. It's day 144. This is Harold B. Lee, praying in times of trial. On one occasion, when I was down visiting one of the stakes in Arizona, the president and bishops of that stake and other stakes in the area had met to discuss the intense drought that was prevailing in the area. It had been so dry for the previous 2 or 3 years that they had lost heavily on their crops. Their reservoirs were too low to afford sufficient irrigation, and they were destitute to the point of losing their farms. They held a day of fasting and prayer and supplication the Lord to grant them rain, that their destitute circumstances might be alleviated. Then it commenced to rain, and I was there when the members of the presidency reminded the saints that for the first time since the reservoirs had been built, the dam was overflowing. The Lord had heard the prayers of these saints. Okay. General Conference goals. I'm going to read you the rest of this chapter because I'm going to read you the rest of this chapter. I know there's a lot of reading going on right now in this video, but you have to hear it, okay? Because I was like, I'm just going to read it. After 4 years of residency and specialty clinicals, Dr. Regina James was hired as a medical pathologist for a cancer hospital connected to a research university. She had done it. Soon, Dr. James found herself mentoring and eventually overseeing other young medical students where she had not been too many years before, imparting wisdom and experience to help others gain the same. Once, a red-eyed medical student on a 36-hour shift threw down his clipboard in exasperation and complained to her, "I'm so tired of that guy. This isn't what I signed up for." "And just what did you think you were signing up for?" Dr. James asked him in return. "Not being worked to the bone for years on end like this," he complained. "Oh, I see," she said. "You want to gain preeminent knowledge and be endowed with extraordinary capacities the easy way, right? Take the quick, condensed online course," she asked with a smile. "I wish. It's just taking everything I've got," the young med student admitted. "It will take everything you've got. Becoming a physician is a complete, consecrated commitment." She emphasized a hard C on all three words. Tugging on his white coat, she said, "Isn't that what you signed up for, really? At your white coat ceremony, that type of commitment isn't casual, but it is ultimately what will qualify you to be worthy of those initials by your name." A dozen years later, a young man named Jacob sat anxiously in the sea of unfamiliar faces. His eyes darted to the left and to the right, leg bouncing in nervous excitement. He couldn't believe he was there and wasn't quite sure what lay ahead of him. Just then, there was a tap on the microphone. Thump, thump, thump. "Good morning, students. Welcome to your white coat ceremony. My name is Dr. Regina James, Associate Dean of the College of Medicine." Regina James had found her way. End of the chapter. And then the next chapter goes on to the way of the covenants. And I read just a couple of sentences right in. Doesn't mention this white coat parable at all. I'm hoping that the next chapter does, because I'm like, okay, it's extremely subtle, and I think I get what he's saying. Like, her course through medical school, the beginning and the trials and all. Hang on. Oh, goodness. Is like our trials in life, and then she's giving people the white coats. So, like, she's now a god and goddess, and the white coat ceremony is the temple endowment, and the commitment we make, the commitment she made is the commitment we make to live the gospel. Like I'm trying to connect the things, but it's so subtle. I'm not quite, I think that's what he's getting at, but I'm not quite sure. Do you know what I mean? Like, that our temple covenants are complete consecrated commitment. He doesn't explain. For heaven's sakes, please explain. And I know that Jesus didn't explain his parables, let him with ears to hear, let him hear. But come on, dude, this is a book. Explain it, I beg of you. I think as we go on, well, I don't want to be like, I think that's what he's talking about, or like I want it to be a little bit more clear. Is that just me? I don't know. Okay. I don't know if any of you are reading this book or have read this book, but if you have, let me know. Help me out a little bit. Okay. Yesterday was Wednesday, which was our general conference talk, and it was Integrity, a Christ-like Attribute. Where's my book? There it is. Are we still in Sunday morning? Sunday morning? Saturday morning? Or is it afternoon? I don't know. Where are we at? Yep. Okay. Here's the things I got out of it when I first heard it during General Conference. Living a life of integrity comes from obedience to the first great commandment, which is loving God. I didn't get much out of it this reading. It really was just saying, have integrity, be honest, have your words match up with your deeds. Be a good person, which I try not to lie. There are those little white lies, you know, here and there. But I try to have integrity. Let's see. I didn't write down the things on the cards. I think I'm going to do that like on Saturday. It's just work is being busy and it's all good. Everything is great. Everything's wonderful. Okay, that was Mosiah chapter 21, and tomorrow we do 22. Let's end it with a read it, do it. It's the 23rd. Can you believe it? All right. Mosiah chapter 21, they highlight verse 16. Sometimes the Lord doesn't answer our prayers overnight, but that doesn't mean the Lord has forgotten us. He will eventually prosper us. Sometimes he prospers by degrees. Wait on the Lord. It's not a horrible one. Okay. That's all for today. It's Thursday. Let's go conquer the day. Love you all. Talk to you later. Bye.